a love so real. Cookie, yeah, we don't want your king, yeah. Now I know me, my parts are queen, yeah. She's a box of chocolates, yeah. She's the daughter of a Wonder Woman, yeah. Amejitambua juu ya ni superwoman. Ananisumbua 'cause she's the one. I'm gonna get to classes. She's a lady of vanity, yeah. You can tweet her on my Facebook, like you need someone to say, yeah. I'm ready to get down and look at it. I'm gonna cook you my tea. Mapenzi yetu si kamili. Like to chase the low key city. 'Cause she brings to life all my fantasies. Never seen a love so real. But yeah, we know I can keep. Now I don't need my part to queen. To life all my fantasies. Never seen a love so real. But yeah, we know I can keep. Now I don't need my part to queen. Yeah. Amefanya mafisi wachizi porini na ni muoriji chano zake mina like moto moto na nywele ni kinky smile like a cup between the teeth. Her body is sweetie baby girl. She'll be all my fantasy. Never seen a love so real. Cocky, yeah, no I can keep. Now I don't even want to quit. All my fantasy. Never seen a love so real. No I can keep. Now I don't want to quit. Yes, and karibuni sana to the Pan-African Bliss family. This is the Black Fire Network Media for the 21st century. Karibuni sana to another episode of the Pan-African Bliss. I go by the name Joby. I hope that you had an amazing, fantastic weekend. And of course, you can let us know how did you get to spend the weekend before I get to share mine through our social media handles. We are on Facebook at the Black Fire Network radio station, on Twitter as well, and also on Instagram. Through those social media platforms, do interact with us. Let us know how are you feeling about today, being the 14th of March, the year 2022. And of course, the time right here, it is 19 minutes to 12 p.m., 41 minutes past 11 a.m. right here in the 254. Do let me know how did you get to spend your weekend and where are you streaming with us from. And of course, if you are joining us for the first time and you are wondering what is the Black Fire Network all about, we get to discuss different matters considering rather, regarding the African continent, and not just checking about the issues, the negativities and all that. It's just all about bringing up some positive vibes also in the African continent and getting to solve the issues that we're talking about here every day. And in case you are also joining us for the first time and you want to join the family officially and get some new knowledge, some different knowledge, you can do that through our social media handles. Rather, you can create your own profile that is on the www.blackfirenetwork.com, and you'll be able to enjoy amazing vibes. That is Fika Gongo with the African girl. And today someone just broke my heart and I just feel so bad, but they say you get over it. Time heals, and time also, pain is a lesson and time heals. That is what they really say. But karibuni sana. Hope you're really doing great this amazing day. I'll be telling you more and what is really happening across the African countries because it has been an amazing weekend on my end. I did get to visit the village and say hi to some few people that I've not seen in like 4 or 5 years. And, I did get to get some information that was really important unto me. But karibuni sana. I'll be telling more on that because we did also get to see that last week we were discussing about the
crackdown that was happening right here in Nairobi regarding the border people, abusing women on the road, rather, mistreating women on the road. But right now, it seems that the crackdown might also affect the African nation, or rather the African continent at large. I can just say so, because right now in Nigeria, there has been also a crackdown of the sexual assault. The men that have been doing some, rather committing some sexual assault. And right now, the president Buhari has also demanded that these people should be arrested and the faces should be also revealed. And we'll be discussing more on that. And also, our major focus of the day. For so long, I've been discussing, I've been saying that you'll find out that we've seen the African economy, the African resources, and most of the things that are here in Africa. Right? Let's say in Kenya. I did get to mention last year, some time back, that we had the building, the KICC building, which was discovered that it had, the land is not owned by our country nor our leaders, but it seems that there are 1,500 more properties that are not even, owned by any of our leaders, not even by this country. No one contributed a penny on it. And it is just bringing up so many issues and so many questions to the Kenyans. And I do believe that you'll find that even if you go to other different countries in Africa, you find that the same thing has been conducted, where so many of the lands right here in the African continent are not ours and they don't belong to us. Yes, we are claiming that, this is a government what, this is a government what, but none of these are even the government. Most of these buildings and lands are being controlled by the Rothschild and the Rockefellers. And I will be discussing more of this. But for now, keep it the Black of Fire Network. We'll be right back after this amazing jam coming all the way from the 254. This is Benzema and Savara. And of course, this is where you find that most of the people right now are trying to rush to get to work. And in case you are trying to escape traffic, the bypass is always the best way to go, despite the construction that are ongoing right now in the 254, on the different sectors of the roads. But the bypass is always the right way to escape the traffic. But enjoy this amazing jam over here by Benzema and Savara from Sauti Sol. I hope that you get to enjoy this one.
Google Maps, Husky, kuna jam hadi nuts. Nimecheki Google Maps, Husky, kuna jam hadi nuts. Basi tuko bypass, na tutanyonga bypass, tutatumia Range Rover ya safari, tupite jangani kunoka shata, speed ya gari ubeba jaba, mdogo ndani ya jipu, leo tunanyonya kata kama tika, niko kwa moti marika, sikupea maarifa. Kama gari kila kutesa Johnny kupe fo, nimejishie bondi lepe chenda chain, Benzema kasava, wanapendanga mabela, Melanie Anisa, changanyisha na ayela. Nimecheki Google Maps, Husky, kuna jam hadi nuts. Nimecheki Google Maps, Husky, kuna jam hadi nuts. Basi tuko bypass, na tutanyonga bypass.
that is Bypass coming all the way from the 254 with Benzema and the Savara from the Sauti Soul. And I hope that you are enjoying this amazing jam. I playing right here on the Black Fire Radio Media for the 21st century. Once again, we are back with the Pan African Bliss. Remember to interact with us on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on Instagram. And in case you are also joining us for the first time, you can also join us officially by creating your own profile through our website that is on the www.blackoutfirenetwork.com and get to enjoy these vibes and more. But before I get to the program of the day, I have an amazing quote. It is a new week, and every new week has its own goals and its new, it has, let me just say, every day has its own, ups and downs. I can just say so. Some people are struggling. There are those, I always wake up and tell myself, every time when I wake up, like, there are people every day. Let's say today is on a Monday. There are people. There's someone today who's going to wake up to a proposal. There's someone today who's going to wake up to giving birth. There's someone today who is dead. There's someone today who is getting married. There's someone today who's going through a heartbreak. There's someone today. Every day we are facing different situations. But through these situations, are we supposed to give into fear? Are we supposed to give into weakness? Are we supposed to give into showing our weakness? We're supposed to become stronger, be it despite any positivity, despite any negativity we face in life. We should embrace every moment we are facing right here on the earth. And the quote of the day is just a simple one, and it says that if you are struggling today, remember this: you have survived everything you've gone through up to this point, and the best day of your life is still yet to come. And there are still people you haven't met, and things haven't experienced, and things you have not experienced. So you can do this. So today, in case maybe you're going through something which is super challenging, maybe you feel like you're not doing your best and all this, the best is yet to come. So just be patient. I've learned to learn, rather, I've always been lenient on the word patience. Patience, sometimes patience is it costs a lot to be patient, but again, it is also worth it. For me, I know I'm very impatient, but again, patience has also taught me a lot. Where there is impatience and also patience, it has really taught me a lot. But do let me know where you're streaming with us from. It is 11 minutes to 12 p.m. right here in the 254, 49 minutes past 11 a.m. 11 minutes, actually 10 minutes to 12 p.m. and 50 minutes past 11 a.m. right here in the 254. Do let me know where you're streaming with us from. And the sun today seems a little bit odd. It is 25 degrees Celsius. I don't know where about your end. How cold is it? Because I know for the most of the family, right now you are asleep. And I do just want to appreciate for those who are awake right here with me on the Pan African Bliss. And thank you for keeping me company and for joining me onto today's broadcast. I was just saying that I went to the village during the weekend, and where things are really crazy. Afterwards, we're complaining on how the gas prices are going up, how the oil prices is going up, how things are going to pile up. But let me tell you, in the village, things are already like double, thrice the price right here in Nairobi. I just went there to do some shopping, and I did not believe, because it was just a week ago I did shopping in my house, and I also did shopping during this particular weekend. When you go to the villages, the same thing that we have been saying that was it on Friday? We were discussing or not. We have parents who have made it like an obligation, or rather like a rule. If you go to visit them, you must give them something. But again, it is also nice if you go to visit people whom you've not seen for the longest time, carry something with you. It is always just nice. It is not a must, but just do something nice. But when I was doing this particular shopping, what I realized is the price tags right in the villages, they are really super high, and like here in the city, they're really, really crazy, and people are complaining. The gas price used to be actually $10, but right now it is $15, which is super, super crazy. Like, it is really, price tags are really going high, really crazy. And of course, we had Keith explaining that in the morning, and I hope that you did get to understand. On you say that things are just getting started, where we think that things have already started, but yet things have not yet started. But we'll be discussing more on that regarding how things are going to go up, and which countries. Of course, we've seen that in terms of like Kenya, we have Nigeria. We're going to be super, super affected. And what really impressed me, not really surprised me, what surprised me in the morning is when I was listening to the show in the morning, and I was with my brother. What really surprised me was he understands, he really understands how the scientists get to work. We have like in terms of those who have done biology, we have in terms of those who have done chemistry, and we have in terms of those who have done physics. And for him, his biggest dream, he says that he also wants to become a scientist, but not to do anything with animals, not to do anything with humans, or anything to do with biology. I don't know. I'm not sure of what he really wants to do. He did say something to do with nuclear, if I'm not really wrong. That is what he really says that he wants to do. But what really impressed me is that he understands that there are some bad scientists, those who come up with different diseases. And of course, the early video which Kate was sharing with us, it did get to show a lot. These people go on fast. We had the report some time back where we had monkeys being transported from Kenya, to different countries. And of course, these particular monkeys, they go use the genetics and create diseases out of it, and then they claim that these diseases are coming from Africa, which is totally crazy and unacceptable. And of course, I think the leaders, not I think, but the leaders are to blame for this, because this is a business that has been going on for so long. They even signed a contract, which is super, super crazy. So there's no way. Every time, the media is always trying to cover up something. When an issue comes forth, they always try to cover up and say, oh, we didn't know about this. You knew, because it has been going on for long, and that they end up claiming that these diseases come from Africa. But also something else that also shocked me, and what I never really expected. I never expected that people from the village know anything to do with the pandemic, I didn't know. Like, literally, I was super shocked. Like, very shocked that these people understand that this has been a plan. They know that this is a distraction from Ukraine and Russia. They know what they are doing. I was really impressed. But the issue is that they were using the mother tongue language. So I couldn't record and share the audio because, the translation is super, super crazy. But what I really understood is that these people know the truth. They're not in the dark, actually, as we thought they are. I mean, that is the eastern part of, Kenya. I'm yet to know about the western part of Kenya, because that is why I think most of I don't want to call them dormant or other ignorant. I would say dormant, dormant and ignorant people. Most of the dormant and ignorant people come from the western part of Kenya. Most of the ignorance, let me just use the term ignorance because that is what we know best for. Those people who are going to give them information, but they'll be like, nah, if this celebrity did this, why should I not? If this person did this, why should I not? If the president did this, why should I not? But it seems that in the eastern part of Kenya, people have information of what the pandemic has been all about for these past 3 years. And what even made me be impressed more is that they know after 2 years, the people who took the big Ugali shot are going to die. The same thing that Keith has been telling us, which is super, super crazy. I was really impressed, and I'm just so glad that our people, there are those who know the truth, and they are using the technology. Let's say in terms of phone, internet and all this, they're using that in a very good way to do research about everything that is affecting us right here in the continent. But I'll go straight to other different matters before we get straight to that. One of the issues that has come forth right now in let me just say the African continent. You know that for so long we've been denied the access of traveling country to country. If you don't have a passport, if you don't have a visa, if you don't have this, you can't access this. But right now it seems that also the Africans, it is quite true that Africans are really waking up. And right now, right now what is really happening, there has been they are saying that for so long Africans have been denied the access, rather, they have been limited to travel countries to country because of the access of visa. But this brought attention after a current governor of Kenya last week, who was denied, he and his family were denied to go to the US because this guy was corrupt. And you remember me saying that I was laughing about the matter because when I bumped into that particular news, I went to the comment section and I just saw someone asking, how did the US embassy know that this Kenyan governor was corrupt? And it is quite clear when you speak of ignorance, yes, there are people who are really ignorant. They don't know what is really going on. They don't know how the world is being ruled. They don't know how how our nations are being ruled and who is even controlling them. Just because I think what is really happening is that people just go to vote for the sake of voting, but we don't know why we're voting and whom we are electing. And we need to understand that this person who is being elected, even if he wins or loses, still the person who runs the country is not the one is not the one, like, for us, we know the truth. He's not the person who is that making decisions for us as citizens. Like when we had the pandemic, like Keith was trying to explain earlier, when we had the pandemic coming into the African continent, everyone was, we had all the presidents right now, we had the presidents talking of, you should walk with your masks, you should do this and this and this, instilling fear in us. But one thing that I came to understand, what I've come to understand, is that most of our African people don't know that this information does not just come from our leaders, from the African leaders. A leader will not just wake up one day and say, hey, I want you to do this and this and this. This is always a phone call away. It's either you do this or I kill you. I remember I can brag. I have a really clever brother. And earlier when we were listening to the show, he did get to, he said that somehow he knew that the Jesus concept is all a lie. He has not been praying, saying the Jesus whole thing, And I also did, it also did get to understand, he knows actually that Tanzania is one of the countries which is less, which does not include tribalism. He also knows that, So you find that there are some people in the continent who know the truth, and there are some people in the continent who do not know the truth, But again, as we say, our others kid has been telling us, when we die, whether we don't die, we always come back, So when we come back, we either have the information from the past, or that you have some knowledge that you need to keep. So I think for my brother and I, we are special in a way. Because for me, I've always been a non-church person, and for me, he knows that he knows, rather, he has not been praying about he has not been putting the Jesus all concept, when he prays, rather, whenever he is communicating to the universe, I can just say so. But what is really happening right now in terms of the visa affecting the African people, what is really going on? They're saying that apart from the visa bans, African leaders should also, apart from the visa bans, African leaders should also be discouraged from visiting hospitals and educating their children abroad. And I totally agree with this, because despite the visa bans and all this, I think the African leaders have always been the people promoting, where we feel like they are the people who have been promoting, Africa looking like, we don't have better education, we don't have this and this and this. And I was saying just last week, if we need better education right here in Africa, if I have the same mindset, and maybe someone from Uganda has the same mindset, and someone from Rwanda or Burundi has the same mindset, if we come together and create a university which we feel, or rather some sort of information and education with the right details, we can create everything that we need right here in the African continent without going to the Mzungu's continent. What is really happening with this particular information? They're saying that as a deterrent to graft, the West should scrutinize the source of Medicare and education fees paid by the African leaders as a priority. And Mike Sonko has fallen full of the American strict visa rules, and due to the corruption, the former Nairobi governor has been declared the persona non grata by the US in a ban that extends to immediate his family. And Mike, they're saying that the family members, but they're saying that, but what the US and the UK and other Western countries don't know is that there are so many Sonkos. Sonko literally means someone who is really rich, like super rich, There are so many rich people, and where he come from, there's so many rich people, rather so many personality. I can just say so many like corrupt people in the country, thieves like him, because for him, he has been banned from going to the US together with the family because the matters of corruption. But what is really missing, and what the media is not also saying, is that there are also so many corrupt leaders in the country who should also be banned from this particular, traveling of outside the African continent, because they feel, whether this source of information came from, this person feels like this is the particular one of the reasons, starting from our leaders, where we have them going out of the country, the same reason that is making Africa not develop, because we're taking all the money outside Africa and not investing in the African continent. But what they are saying is that, but what the US and the UK, and what the US, the UK, and other Western countries don't know is that there are many Sonkos where he came from, and that they should pursue them all swiftly and relentlessly for the sake of Africa. And apart from apart from the visa bans, African leaders should also be discouraged from visiting hospitals and educating their children abroad. And the West cannot choose which corruption to fight. An African leader no longer needs to carry suitcase of money abroad. He can still be corrupt by using the national budget to obtain the best for himself and his family abroad by paying for expensive healthcare and education. Do you family agree with that? And they're also saying that the African leaders are known for running down hospitals and destroying education in their countries, are led to benefit from the Western countries, eager to net higher fee paying foreign students and medical tourists to supplement their let me get that, where did that go, to supplement the institution funds. And as a deterrent to graft, the West should scrutinize the source of Medicare and education and fees paid by the African leaders as a priority. And most African leaders and families have obscene wealth and live equally decadent lives abroad, with some even ruling their countries from the comfort of their villas in the West. Like we have that is totally true, because if you look at I did get to see, and this also makes me agree with Keith, what is really happening. We have the US, we have the African leaders. We're always trying, this includes Africa in general, where I'll still use the same words I was using the other day: sympathy and empathy. We're trying to seek sympathy and empathy where we don't really belong. Instead of us investing in the continent, we think we're going to get the best outside the continent. And also still the same embassy where we have the US, and we have the Western countries, and we have the African continent, where most of us, we feel like like there's some missing information. I can just say so, because with all this going on, and also this person giving this information, it is quite clear for him. He understands that there's no way that one person out of the whole leadership, because we have so many corrupt leaders, not only in Kenya but in Africa at large. But there's always one person who is always point fingered. But at the end of the day, we forget that there are some who are even more corrupt than the person who is being point fingered, which is some information that most of our people are missing. And you tend to ask yourself, like, how did the US embassy know that this person was corrupt? We also need to understand that there is more than one Sonko. There are so many corrupt Sonkos right here in the African continent. And for us to stop with all the the visa bans and all this, instead of us being denied all the access to what because of better education, because of better medical health care and all this which we're seeking in the Western countries, we should invest all this in the African nation, in the African continent. That is what I can really say regarding this particular matter that is happening on the in Kenya, and also affecting the African people. But they're also saying that one of the countries that has been discovered as a runaway draft is Dubai. Dubai is fast becoming the playground for corrupt individuals from Africa. And the Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe set the trend when he replaced London and New York with Singapore and Dubai, following his acrimonious relationship with the West. And the sanction and the visa bans did not affect him and his family. So there's always like favors being given. So I think what is really happening, because I think for Sonko, I don't think he was really that corrupt, because that guy, when he was a governor, according to my own point, as a citizen, for him, I think he did an amazing job. I think, which most of the leaders maybe were not with it. We had so many youths right here in the continent who are very jobless before Sonko became a governor of Nairobi. And this guy, when he became a governor, he went ahead and gave so many youths employment by doing what? Giving them job of garbage collection and getting paid, cleaning the streets and getting paid. Like once a week or maybe thrice a week, you go clean this particular area, then you go to his office, he pays each and every individual. So I think with that particular way, he was creating so much. He was friendly with the youths. He created so many resources, let me say, in terms of like we have football players who are less considered, but he went ahead and built a stadium for them to go practice whatever they can before they go international, or before they do whatever they have to do. So I can say they point fingered. They did put fingers on him, rather, accused him of being the most corrupt person. Maybe because some favors he was doing, they were for the citizens, they were the best interest of the citizens. He was doing things which impressed the citizens, unlike most leaders, which they'll not do. That is my own point of view. So that's why you can see that they are saying that it is quite crazy why they have to point Sonko alone, yet we have so many families, rather we have so many corrupt leaders in the country who are not being banned from traveling and all this and this and this and this. But that is what is really happening in terms of the matters of corruption, and also the visa bans, how it affects the African people, and also in terms of business, education, and healthcare, how it is affecting the African nation. But it is all being promoted by our leaders. That is the news and updates that I had for you on that particular sector. I'll be taking a short musical break, family. Then I'll be right back after this short musical break with the Don't Care, with the one and only Starkid Darkos, and I do hope that you get to enjoy this one. I'll be right back with some news and updates coming all the way still from the 254, and we shall be discussing all that, and also news and updates coming all the way from Nigeria, where right now Lagos has declared a crackdown on sex offenders by the public details, by the public, by the government, by the leader. Today I'm murmuring so much, but thank you so much for being with us. We'll be right back after this short musical break. This is Taki Dakos with I Don't Care.
Love is for suckers, nigga, don't trust nobody. She said she love you, but she love everybody else. This summer she love you, she love another man, oh yeah. Written man go do. She said, baby, I can't explain. I love you, I am. We just friends, we just talk and nothing less, nothing more. We are no one, no explanation. From you, we are no one, no explanation. You should know that I don't care no more. You should know that I don't care no more. Love is for suckers, me I don't trust nobody. She said she love me, but she love everybody. It's somewhere she love me, she love other time I do, yeah. With you not do. I won't let my emotion win. 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 You should know that I don't care no more. You should know that I don't care no more.
me. That is Don't Care by the one and only Starkid Darkos, playing right here on the Black on Fire Radio Media for the 21st century. And of course, you know, Nigerians never disappoint. But we are back with the Pan African Bliss right here on the Black on Fire Radio, and we are discussing different matters that are happening right here in the African continent. And one of the issues that has just popped up right now is that the Algeria president has banned the export of foods, within the country. And what they are saying is that the Algeria president Abdel Majid has banned the export of foodstuffs that the country imports, and the state news agency did get to give that particular information. And they're saying that the commodities include sugar, oil, pasta, semolina, and wheat. And the source is quoted by the agency as saying a source is quoted by the agency as saying that the president called it economic sabotage and to sell commodities that the country does not produce locally. And the president's decision also bans importation of frozen meat products. And the president also made an announcement after listening to a presentation by Trade and Agriculture Minister on the availability for food staples. And the local media outlets have warned of increasing food prices, and the Algeria imports most of its foodstuffs, and there have been protests in the past over increase of food prices in the country. Well, I can say that the protest of food prices has begun actually even before the effect of Russia and Ukraine. This began way earlier. You know, it has not started right now. This is not a surprise to us. It shouldn't be a surprise. And I think we saw it coming. Kit has been saying all this, but what is really happening, I can say, in Algeria, the president might have noticed on what is coming, and what he's really trying to do, I can say, is maybe trying to secure, the food that is within the country for the people, or maybe for the citizens, because the price tags are going to rise up. They are really going to go high. But what they've really said is that they're not going to accept any more exports of food within, from the country. And I just don't know how they're going also to survive, because I can see they were also depending on the importation of food from, I think, maybe Russia in terms of maybe wheat. Let me just check that particular information before I give the wrong information. Let me see. Algeria, what Algeria was importing from Ukraine, or maybe from Russia. Okay. Let me see. Well, they're saying that in 2019, the products from Russia that paid the highest import tariffs to enter Algeria were ethyl alcohol and other spirits denatured. Okay, so I think Algeria might be okay. Let me just confirm that again. So they want, yeah. What do we import from Russia? Let me just check. Well, they're saying that the most recent imports of Algeria are led to refined petroleum, which is 1.86 billion US dollars, and they also have wheat, which is 1.47 billion dollars, and the packaged medicaments, which is 1.5 billion dollars, and concentrated milk, which is $982 million, and also vehicle parts, which is $866 million. And the most common import patterns for Algeria are China, France, Italy, Spain, and Germany. Well, that is totally crazy. Well, I think we are affected in terms of I can say Africa at large, we are affected when it comes to expecting wheat from Russia and all this, which is super, super crazy. But I also do hope that the president, with the information he's giving, it is for the good, with the amount of food that is within the country, or with the amount of food that is within the country. We don't need to export or import right now. We need to secure and ensure that our people will get enough, without including the WHO, the AID, the AU, the EU, because these are the same people that are bringing effects into our country and acting innocent. But that is what is really happening in Algeria. And I also have other news and updates coming all the way from Nigeria. And right now, I did get to mention earlier that right now there is a crackdown in Nigeria of where sex offenders are being arrested and also their photos being displayed all over. And this has led to this particular matter because of one senior Nigerian officer who, a senior Nigerian police officer, is being investigated over the assault of a female colleague in Enugu State. And they're saying that Onkela, who is the assistant commissioner in the state, faces possible sanctions, is found and culpable, and is it capable or culpable? Whatever. I don't know what they are really writing over here. The English is also complicated, but we need Swahili. They're saying that he is accused of dragging a female officer on the ground while beating her up and ordering her detention. And the senior officer has not condemned about the allegations. And the Enugu Enugu State Commissioner of Police said that no stone would be left unturned. And the police in Nigeria have in the past been accused of brutally beating up civilians, and they're saying that the government had promised reforms after nationwide protests rocked the country for 2 weeks in 2020. And of course, with this particular matter, it has led to a crackdown in Nigeria, where right now the Lagos state government in Nigeria has commenced publishing the details of convicted sex offenders in the state. Well, first, if you start by abusing a woman, you are abusing I don't know why. So literally it is everywhere where men will never be able to respect women. I don't know. Is it happening where you're listening to me from, or is it just in Africa? Because I was saying the other day, the African education or rather the African mentality, especially in terms of men, we have those men. Maybe you've grown up seeing women being beaten, let's say maybe in terms of your mom, being beaten up and down. So you growing up as a man, you have that mentality. You think like, if I beat a woman, she'll be able to listen to me. If I slap her, she'll do this, which is totally wrong. That is totally wrong. No one raises a hand, especially no one raises a hand to beat a woman. That is totally insane. And it should be a lesson with whatever. I was saying, just the other day, I was saying that I think this crackdown of where men need to be taught a lesson should happen across the continent. And I'm just super surprised that right now it is also happening in Nigeria, right now, where the government has ordered that they need to check on what is really happening, how women have been affected on this and this and this. But what they are saying is that it is part of the crackdown on domestic abuse and gender-based violence under the provision given by Section 52 of the Domestic Sexual Violence, which is happening in the country. But I just do hope that men can be able to learn lessons in all this, because I don't know. Right now, what I can say with the crackdown that really did get to happen in Kenya, I think men have learned their lessons, and right now the boda have been allowed to go back on the road and operate, but you need to have a license first to secure your life. Not a license, but an insurance, and you also need a driving license to operate on the road. You need an insurance before by 30 days. That is, I think, a month period for them to have license and insurance at the same time for them to operate on the road. Because what really happens in these particular matters, every time, let's say we have a boda rider, or maybe someone who's, let's say, a small accident, these people always come and pile up on you. They start, they act like the person who is wrong, even if they are the one who are wrong. So you need an insurance to cover up for every mistake that happens unto you. And for that, you'll be able to make things even easier, for them to operate things in a very smoothly way. But that is what is really happening in Nigeria. Other news and updates are coming from Ethiopia. And right now, Ethiopia, the Ethiopian government says it will take actions against people seen in a certain video burning a man alive. And this brings me to the same issue where I was saying, if you can remember very clearly, where I was talking about of men, or let me say just in Africa, where in Africa, men, not really men, But Africans, for me, I can be stoned, or maybe someone can come even light fire on me, but people will watch you burn down and take videos of you instead and post it, which is super, super crazy. I did not include tribalism in all this, and this is why we were trying to argue with Kate and Spikes the other day, where we were saying that for Africans, the division has led us to that particular point. Someone might die for us, just as we record the video. Someone is crying help, help, but we're just there recording the video, not doing anything, which is super, super crazy. Right now, what is really happening in Ethiopia is that one man was burnt. There was a video which went viral of a man burning alive, and the film of men in Ethiopia army uniforms taunt the man and setting him on fire has been circulated widely on social media. And the authorities say that the incident took place in the northern region of Benishangul, and where there is frequent ethnic violence. And the video has not been verified independently, but it is not clear if the incident is connected with the war in the northern Ethiopia, which has been there 16 months ago, which is almost a month and 4 months right now. But the dispute happening in Ethiopia. I was talking about the African Union the other day, where we have the African Union, which is supposed to be setting rules, especially when it comes to like matters of attack, or maybe let's say we're making an agreement with some particular let's say like the IMF, or maybe any particular agreement we're trying to make. This is why we need to draw the lines and have our own rules, have our own orders, because every time we have a dispute, or rather we have an issue, the African person will never be prioritized, not even by our own leaders. We'll be watched as we die, and that is what they want. But with what is happening in Nigeria regarding this particular, I've not seen the video personally myself. I've not seen the video, and I wish I could see it to see what is really happening and what was the reaction of the people, because that is where you get to get the information of what we call the division, and the division that has been, the divide and conquer mission, which is really happening in the African countries. But I'll be taking another short musical break, family. We are closer to winding up, but do let me know where you're streaming with us from as we also come closer to the end of today's broadcast. Let me know where you're streaming with us from, and how are you, and how did you get to enjoy your weekend as well. This is by the one and only Lex the Wolf. It goes by Like Beyonce, and I do hope that you get to enjoy this one.
That girl with the boom, where you at? Girl, boom, where you at? See, I like the way you did. I like the way you did. I see you, the come where you at? The booty like a Beyonce, and I'm liking how you did. Liking how you did. Step on, now the booty on me, put it on me. 1, 2, 3, shoot it out of my league. Girl, you smoke my weed. Come with me, looking like you need a trip. Don't you ride on me, ride on me. I got you begging for more. We got it out on the floor, yeah. Control the girl. You know what to get my road, girl. Yeah, we dancing on the floor. Me and you private trips, girl. Yeah, I know that you need a ride. Come girl, have a good time. Come be my baby. I'ma be your man too, yeah. Just for tonight, I'm gonna have a good time. You can be my Beyonce, I'ma be your dad too, yeah. Just for tonight, I'm gonna have a good time. You can be my Beyonce, I'ma be your dad too, yeah. Paradise, space wanna be. Close your eyes, put your mind on me. It's been a while, you passed my way. I'm not your man, but I love you too. Me and gonna let you go, me and gonna let you go. Girl, come close, I just wanna touch you slow. I just wanna touch you slow, touch you slow. Baby, we can do it on the low. Baby, we can do it on the low. We can do it on the low. Ain't nobody gotta know. Ain't nobody gotta know. Yeah, control the girl. You know Yeah, I know that you need a ride. I'm gonna have a good time. Come be my baby. I'ma be your man too. Yeah, just for tonight. I'm gonna have a good time. Come be my Beyonce. I'ma be your baby too. Yeah, just for tonight. I'm gonna have a good time. Come be my Beyonce. I'ma be your baby too. Yeah. Control the girl. Yeah, it doesn't all
Yes, and those are some amazing vibes playing right here on the Black Fire Radio. That is like Beyonce by the one and only Let's the Move. I don't know why he had to just sing like Beyonce, not like any other girl. But we are back. Do let me know how are you feeling today before we get closer to winding up with this amazing news. And what I really wanted to talk about is that when it comes to the properties that are right here in Kenya, or maybe let me say just in Africa at large, and if you can remember, there was some time last year I did get to mention of the KICC building, which was the first thing that brought attention to me that you'll find that most of these countries, or not the countries, but most of the properties and lands right here in the African continent, which most of the business sites are set. We also have others which are under the government's name, but literally none of these properties are owned by our leaders, not our country, because it has brought to attention also. And also the other day we did get to see that we have in terms of like we had the Jomo Kenyatta, which I did get to share the information that it is 50% owned by the country and 50% owned by Queen Elizabeth, which I do not believe, because we had keep giving the information that literally it is owned by Queen Elizabeth, because most of these projects or most of these things that are running in the African continent, they are funded by this particular, the Rothschild and the Rockefellers. But what is really happening right now in Kenya, there has been a discovery of some buildings which do not even have titles of under the Kenyan Institute. We have the Pumwani Hospital, which is a big hospital right here in Kenya. It is a delivery and a maternity hospital. We also have the Uhuru Park, which where people are supposed to go and spend splendid time, because it is Uhuru Park. Like, the reason why it's called Uhuru Park, it's like the Uhuru is freedom, where people can just go sit without pain and all this. But still, some time back, early in I think it was in December, November, these parks were, I don't know what really happened, but there's a time that what they were reconstructing it, and people, I don't think they are supposed to pay if you enter to that particular, park. We also have the KICC, which I did get to mention, and among other 15 properties. But what they're saying is that the Pumwani Maternity Hospital and the Kenyatta International Conversation Center, which is the KICC, are part of the 1,500 public properties that are no title deeds. And the Lands Cabinet Secretary Farida Keroni said that the other prime public properties without ownership documents include Uhuru Park and Central Parks in Nairobi. And she goes ahead and say that we have identified 1,500 public parcels of land in Nairobi, and it will shock you to know that for years, Pumwani Maternity and the KICC and the Uhuru Park and the Central Park. Let me get that particular one very quick. Pumwani and the KCC and the Uhuru Park and the Central Park have no title documents, and we are now starting titling of public and land and distinguishing the records. And the lack of crucial documents has exposed prime government land, including those owned by the state corporation and public utilities, and such as schools, to the risk of invasion by the private developers. And Ms. Karani told the Devolution Committee of the Senate that the lease of Pumwani Maternity Hospital expired in 2012, which is a shock. And no one has been made by the Nairobi City, no effort has been made by the Nairobi City Council, City County, which is the NSCC, to renew it. And the Pumwani Maternity is the biggest referral hospital for delivery of expectant mothers in the four countries forming the Nairobi metropolitan area. This is totally crazy, this is totally crazy. And they're saying that in that particular hospital, actually 354 beds capacity, occupying more than 10 acres. That is quite a big land, but the crazy part is that who owns this particular lands? Who owns it? Because if they are saying that this the information, they're saying that the lease at the Senate of Ms. Caroni told the Devolution Committee of the Senate that the lease of Pumwani maternity expired in 2012. We are in 2022, 10 years. Like, this is totally crazy. Like, and people are going there, people do deliver, though we have cases of babies being stolen, this and this and this and this. It is totally crazy. You tend to ask yourself, how is it that we operate in a government where we literally don't know who owns this and why this particular type we have different matters which are always operating, rather occurring in these particular hospitals. You ask yourself, what is really going on? We have leaders who are supposed to come forth and speak about this matter, but only to come find out that nobody has a title deed on these particular lands or this business. It is quite sad, because I do not know what Kenyans are really asking themselves right now, which is totally crazy. This is quite a shock. For me, it is quite a shock to see that we literally don't own nothing. But what is being told is that the MPs heard that other public parcels of the land adjacent to the hospital as being illegally located to private developers. While still, even if it is a private hospital, even if they turn it to a private hospital, it is still, the land is still doesn't have a title deed, and the owner of the title deed that is not even known. And if you were to do deeper research, I'm so certain is not from Kenya, is not from Africa. We always have people in control of our country. Just the same thing I was trying to explain earlier. Like, when someone asked, how did the US embassy know that Sonko was corrupt? Because not most of our people know that most of our countries, we claim of independence, we claim of freedom every day, but we are not free. We are not independent in any way. Most of our lands are under loans. Most of our business are under loans. Most of them are not even ours. Yet we think that, just because we have the Jomo Kenyatta calling itself the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, it does not mean that it was owned by Kenyatta, the late first president of Kenya. Just because we have Moi Girls, or maybe Moi International Airport as well, or maybe something else under the president's name, it doesn't mean that it is literally owned by any of our leaders. And that is one of the things that I think our people really need to get to understand. But before I come to the end of the show, other news and updates are also coming from Tanzania. And of course, we have the puppet right now operating in Tanzania, and that is Samia Suluhu. And what she's trying to do, I think, is dividing people, because I think once you get into the border of Tanzania, once you cross the border, from Kenya, you now get into the Tanzanian road. You see unity, you see love, you see one language, you don't see division. But what is really happening right now, they're saying that the hundreds of Maasai people have volunteered to leave their homes in Tanzania, Ngorongoro conservation area. And they're saying after the government asked the pastoralists to relocate because of risking human population, was putting pressure on wildlife. And they're saying that more than 450 from 86 households have expressed their intentions to move. And the Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa addressed that more than 350 Maasai elders, also known as Laiguanans, on Friday. Laiguana on Friday, he said that the President Samia Suluhu had expressed her deeper concern for the fate of the area, which received UNESCO Global Geopark status in 2018. And the President Samia is also saying that she believes to be worried about the impact growing number of the livestock and the human beings is having which is having the livestock and human beings is having on the wildlife. And they're saying that Mr. Majaliwa noted that 110,000 people were now living in the area, and that is just up to 8,000, which was in 1958, which is really crazy. But I do not see why it is for you as a leader to give protection to these people if you feel like there's a matter of insecurity in terms of in terms of livestock, in terms of in whichever way we are supposed to be affected. Because I think when it comes to livestock, other people being attacked because of livestock, it is also happening right here in Kenya, where we have some regions where even kids operate with guns just to protect what is theirs. I've seen that. We've had that in news every day. This has been killed. These people have been killed because of this and this. What we are supposed to do, instead of you telling them to relocate, you're supposed to give them protection. You're supposed to provide protection, because Tanzania, I don't think it is a country which is supposed to be so hard to handle, because there are people who are of peace. So I do not see why she has to move these Maasais, because before we got to Arusha, I think, is it after Arusha or before Arusha, we did get to see so many Maasais somewhere, different livestock and all that. But these, for me, it seems like a division of the people. That is what I can really say. That is what she's trying to do. Instead of uniting people, you are dividing them. You're supposed to be giving them protection, protecting what is in the country, because it is your country, not for you telling them to go find somewhere else to seek shelter, like the Ghana people or the Nigerian people were telling people in Ukraine. But that is what is really happening in Tanzania. Do let me know what are your thoughts on this. But do let me know. But we are coming to the end of the show. This has been the Pan-African Bliss. It is 38 minutes past 12 p.m. right here in Nairobi, which is 12 minutes or 22 minutes to 1 p.m. And do let me know, are you okay? And how did you get to spend your weekend, though, as we come to the end of the broadcast? Thank you so much to everyone who has been with us, even though today I had some silent listeners. I appreciate you so much for being with us and keeping it to the Pan-African Bliss with Joby. Do remember to catch us on other episodes right here on the Blackout Fire Radio Media for the 21st century. This is Mwikali with Pull Up, and I do hope that you get to enjoy this one. From me to you, much love, and have an amazing, productive rest of your day, and spread kindness and love all the way and anywhere you go. That is what I can really tell you. And despite any struggles you're facing right now, just know that your time is yet to come. You're still young and living. That is what I can say. Just live life with full of life. That is what I can say.